Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something really interesting. A huge strategic shift that's happening right now inside accounting firms all over the country. Yeah, I know, kind of provocative, right? But this question, it gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today. See, a lot of firms are starting to look way beyond their own borders to get a real competitive edge. So, okay, let's just dive right in. So, to really get why this big shift is even happening, you first have to understand the world these folks live in. I mean, we've got to talk about the intense, high-pressure environment of a modern CPA firm. And when I say pressure, I mean it. We're talking about a world of just immense pressure. Think about it. Constant, tight deadlines, regulations that just seem to get more and more complex every single year. And on top of all that, there's absolutely zero room for error. What our sources are telling us is pretty clear. These teams are often stretched to their absolute breaking point. So, what do? How do these firms actually cope with all that? Well, instead of just trying to hire more people locally, which has its own problems, a lot of them are doing something different. They're building global partnerships. And this isn't just a band-aid, it's a real strategic solution. And this right here, this is the absolute heart of the strategy. It's so important to get this. The main goal here isn't just about saving a few bucks. Nope. It's about something much bigger, building capacity. It's about fundamentally freeing up their main team to focus on the high-value stuff that really moves the needle. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how does this global partnership actually help? Like, what does it do? Well, the whole strategy is really built on 5 key support pillars. These are the things that make the whole model click. Yep. There are 5 of them, and each one is specifically designed to solve a major pain point that these firms deal with day in and day out. Let's break them down, starting with number 1. All right, pillar number 1. This is all about getting things right from the very beginning. We're talking quality and precision. The whole idea is to get financial statements that are already accurate, already compliant with US GAAP, and they come with all the reconciliations and schedules. Everything is ready to go. So what does that mean? It makes the final review process, well, incredibly smooth. Pillar number 2 tackles the money side of things, the financial reality. Think about it. You get access to this huge pool of highly skilled professionals, but you get to sidestep all the usual fixed costs, hiring, office space, benefits, all that stuff. This gives firms way more flexibility with their budgets. And this chart just lays it out perfectly, right? It's the economic engine driving this whole thing. You're basically flipping a switch. You're taking a high, fixed overhead cost, something that's always there, and turning it into a lower, variable cost, one that you can dial up or down depending on how busy you are. That's a really powerful financial tool to have. Okay, next up, pillar number 3. This one tackles a headache that every single person in the accounting world knows all too well, the seasonal crunch. Yep, we're talking about tax season, and this pillar is designed to be the ultimate relief valve for that chaos. And you can see that agility right here. I mean, look at the difference. The old way meant you were either drowning and understaffed during peak season, or you were overstaffed and paying people to sit around in the slow season. With this model, you can bring in the exact amount of expert help you need right when you need it, and then scale back down. It just makes sense. Now, pillar number 4 is absolutely critical, because this is all about reducing risk. By tapping into an experienced team that's already trained on US accounting standards, firms basically get a whole other layer of review. And that extra set of eyes, it's huge for catching potential errors and just making sure everything is 100% compliant. And finally, we have pillar number 5, which really ties everything together: streamlined collaboration. It's pretty simple, actually. The offshore team handles all the daily nuts and bolts execution. What does that do? It frees up the onshore team to stop worrying about routine tasks and start focusing on the big picture. Strategy, client communication, and those high-value advisory services. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But I'm sure you're thinking, how does this actually work? Let's get into the practical, day-to-day questions. And this is probably the number 1 question on everyone's mind, right? I mean, you've got a team that could be thousands of miles away. Who's in charge? Who's making sure the work is getting done and getting done right? Well, the whole model works because of a really clear division of labor. Think of it like this. Way up top, you have the onshore controller. They're focused on the big picture strategy and the final sign-off. Then you've got an onshore manager who acts as the daily point person, handling communication and oversight. And that leaves the offshore team to focus on one thing: execution and preparation. It's a really smart, layered system. Okay, another huge practical question is all about branding. I mean, firms spend years, sometimes decades, building their reputation. So the last thing they want is for their clients to see some third-party name. They need to know, will my clients know about this? And the answer is a big yes. You can brand it as your own. That's the crucial part. The model is specifically designed to be a white label solution. What that means is the offshore team basically becomes a silent, invisible extension of your own team. All the work, all the reports, everything is delivered under your firm's brand. For the client, it's completely seamless. And of course, none of this works, not a single piece of it, without a rock-solid foundation of trust. I mean, let's be real, we're talking about incredibly sensitive client financial data here. So it is absolutely essential, it's paramount, that these partners have strict, verifiable data security protocols. This part is, without a doubt, completely non-negotiable. All right, so we've looked at the problem, we've walked through the 5 pillars, and we've talked about the practicalities. So, what's the big picture here? What's the ultimate takeaway? Let's zoom out for a second. When you boil it all down, this model is really about getting the best of both worlds. Firms get access to skilled professionals, they can handle those crazy workload peaks without breaking a sweat, they ensure compliance with US standards, and they get to reduce their operational costs, all while maintaining, and this is key, the same high quality for their clients. It's really about scaling your business, but without the compromises.
And that brings us to one last really big question to chew on. We've been talking about accounting this whole time, right? But think bigger. Could this model, this idea of using global talent for the day-to-day execution so your local teams can focus purely on strategy and client relationships, could this be the new blueprint for all kinds of professional firms in the future? It's definitely something to think about.